Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name's Chelsea and I love talking about books. So in today's video, as you probably have guessed by the title, I'm going to be doing a wrap up of all the books that I read in the months of January and February. I started off this year like really slow as compared to last year. Last year I really was like, whoa. But I also started last year off with the Throne of Glass series, and that just like was such a good reminder of why I love reading and like the feelings that I love to get out of reading. And I was in, my cat is on a man run. And I feel like that just set me up for such a good year last year, like an exciting year of reading. I have a Red Bull, I'm addicted. Look at this cat. What are you doing? No. He is so naughty. Look how big he's getting. Okay, let's just get cracking. I have my phone here because I need Fable, otherwise I just won't remember what I've read. So we started the year with 2 Kindle reads, and they were Role Model by Rachel Reed and The Long Game by Rachel Reed, which is the Game Changers series, also known as the Heated Rivalry series. I rated Role Model at 3.75, and then I rated The Long Game 5 stars. So the Game Changers series is a adult hockey romance series, and they're books. The first one being Game Changers, where we follow Scott and Kip. Scott is like a very famous NHL player, and Kip works in a smoothie shop, and they like strike up this friendship where he needs to go and have the exact same smoothie before games, because every time he has one he wins his game, sort of thing. The reason that it's known more so as like Heated Rivalry is that the show I think Ilya and Shane were like fan favourites for the book series as a whole, and so the show follows their story, and then in the show you have one episode that goes back to the Game Changers book. I really liked all of the series as a whole. I think the first book was a 4, and then Heated Rivalries and The Long Game are both 5s, and then all of the others were 3.75 stars. But as a whole, just all of the feelings I felt while reading this series was incredible. Yeah, really, really enjoyed that one. And then, as I said at the beginning of the video, so last year I started the year off by reading the Throne of Glass series, and we read that as a whole in our like online book club that we have. And I just really loved like the community we had when we were all reading it. Like we were constantly just being like, say like, I've just said no to plans because I need to stay home and like finish this book, and we'd be texting in like code being like, when you know you know. And I just love that sense of community that we had. And so I was like, we need another fantasy series that we can all read together and like feel that we were chasing the high, basically. So we picked the House of Devils series as a book series to read, like starting in January, and then the people that want to fly through can fly through, the people that want to do like one book a month can. The first book in that series is Cities of Gods and Monsters, and it's by Kayla Edwards. I unfortunately just did not gel with this book at all. I ended up having to get the audiobook, and even then it was like a struggle. And I feel like if I'm listening to an audiobook and I'm still struggling, that's not a good sign for me, essentially. So I did rate it a 2-star. But like there was parts that I enjoyed it, and there was parts where I was like, oh, okay, maybe I will continue with this series. But as a whole, I didn't gel with the so let me start again. So basically the plot of this one, this is a urban fantasy actually can't even remember what. Lauren Keller has only ever been ordinary as a human struggling to survive in a city that caters to the needs of vampires, werewolves, witches, and other supernatural creatures. She always assumed her life would remain simple, predictable, and as safe as her world would allow, until she barely escapes abduction at the hands of dark slayers. So basically, she's human, surrounded by like other supernatural creatures, and then I think two of her friends, or like one of her friends, gets kidnapped, but while they're getting kidnapped, they're like, no, it's you that we want. But because they couldn't get her, they take the friends instead. And so then she ends up getting help from like a devil. Was he like a devil? Darian. And his job is, he's basically like a supernatural bounty hunter. To me, when I was reading it, it felt very much like a hybrid of Crescent City and like the Shadowhunters world. Shadowhunters like Chronicles, like the whole world. Because like someone that she loved had gone missing. She's now like, why do they want me? What's so special about me? You know? And I don't know, just compared to those two, it just wasn't my favourite. And like our female main character, Lauren, was very much like, I hate you, I never want to see you again. I can't, like, you're like literally, to me, a teenager, you're ruining my life. And then 10 minutes later, it'll be like, I miss him whenever I'm not with him, and I just can't stop thinking about him, blah, blah, blah. And then would seek him out, and then be like, but I still can't believe that you did this. And I was like, I just don't care. Just don't care. But then I have seen so many other people love it and enjoy it, but it wasn't for me. I think because I've read and loved the Shadowhunters, and I read and I loved Crescent City, I don't need it again in another format that I'm like not enjoying. But if that format was your favourite and you want to read everything you can, then maybe give it a go. But I won't be continuing the series myself. And then next I actually have this book physically. I read Diabound by Sable Sorensen. Oh my god, I've just realised. Look at the rip in the dust cover. You see that? That is so bad. What the hell? And it's like at the back, so I wouldn't have seen it. That's from Asda. What the hell? Anyway. So yeah. Diabound, Sable Sorensen, a Walls of Ruin novel. This one, I love this one. I didn't... Sometimes, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record because everyone says this, but you know, like sometimes when books get really, really hyped, I feel like you go in with an expectation of it being amazing, and you're always just like a tiny bit maybe disappointed because it's just, you've hyped it up so much. And I tried to read Silver Elite last year and I just didn't gel with it. And I was like, is this going to be like another Silver Elite? But I ended up rating this one a 4.5 stars. So what we have is our female main character, whose name is... Let me have a look. Oh, I just pressed the wrong book. That's fine. Okay, so we have our female main character, Merrin, who lives in a town where in the middle of the night, like, children are being taken. And so she's doing what she can. She's doing what she can in the town to sort of like teach the kids self-defense and how to defend themselves from intruders, until one evening it is her own little sister that gets taken by these people. They're not sure who's taking them or why they're taking them, but her sister gets taken, and she decides that the only way to save her sister is to join, like, enlist in their army, so that she can get to the front lines to try and find out, like, who's taking her sister and where her sister could be. But what she finds out when she enlists in the army is that they are going through, like, the bonding trials, wherein bonded or, like, soldiers can work through these trials to become a bonded soldier, and they bond to big, massive, like, dire wolves, and they, like, share power, and they become, like, they become bonded, hence bonded soldiers. She has always had a disliking towards them because they like think that they're these like amazing, they just think that they're better than everyone else, that they don't stink. But then she finds herself having to like go make it through the trial to get to where she needs to go, and a lot of stuff just starts happening, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think if you liked the trials and the bonding of humans and dragons in Fourth Wing, then you're definitely going to enjoy this one. I really liked the female main character. I liked all of the little like twists and plot reveals that we were getting throughout to like keep the pace moving and going. It might not be like the most original romantasy out there, but it's good. Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the tropes in it. And sometimes you just need like a really good romantasy, and to me this is one of them. Like, if you're gonna go for like cringy romantasy, this one is definitely one to do. The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I forget about how much I love a historical fiction or like Kristen Hanna's writing until I pick one up and I get a couple of chapters in and I'm just like, oh my god, this is incredible. So this one follows Elsa, who it's set in 1934 in America. We follow Elsa. She is born into this family that like are just very like overbearing and overprotective. She hasn't been very well, and they've basically spent her whole life saying that she'll never marry, she'll never have a family, she just needs to stay at home with them and be protected and just very, very, very sheltered. But her other sisters are well, and they're able to like go out, and they're very like stereotypically pretty, and they're allowed all the nice dresses, but she just sort of gets told like, you're not a desirable woman, so you may as well just get used to the fact that you're going to be at home forever. This causes her to rebel, and she ends up intertwined with, I can't remember his name, with a man and his family, and it follows her journey in making this new family and farm life during like the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. An incredible journey of survival, hope, and what we do for those we love, set against America's Great Depression of the 1930s and the Dust Bowl, considered to be the worst environmental disaster in American history. It's about the strength and resilience of women, the value of female friendship, and the unbreakable bond between mother and daughter. This, as a daughter, like, this just really hit home. Like, you think I'm English, I wasn't alive in the 1930s, like, how am I going to relate to like these people? You will find a way to relate. I think it's just so incredible how she can take like a real time and a real period and still make it so emotional and relatable for everyone that picks it up. I really, really enjoyed this. This was a 5-star. I think my next one that I'm going to read is Firefly Lane. Like, I just love her writing, and I need to remind myself that I love this emotional, I just love an emotional story, but I love it set against a backdrop where you feel like you're learning something. I feel like it's as if like she's handing you a piece of history, but listen to like the real life stories of the people that lived through it, even though obviously they're not real life people, but that's what it feels like. It feels like here is this slice of history, and you're going to fall in love with all of the characters that are like going through this at that time. So yeah, really, really, really recommend this one. I think I stayed up at one point until like 3 a.m. when I first got into it, because I was just like, oh, how can this be that interesting? But it really, really is. And next on my Kindle, I downloaded Willing Prey by Ali Oleander, because I'd heard so many good things about it, and it was 340 pages long. So this one basically follows our female main character, Claire, who is has found out that her husband has been cheating on her with someone at work, and so they are separating and getting a divorce. Except while they were together, he said, if we work together at paying off my student loans first, get that paid off quicker, then we can both focus afterwards at paying off your student loans. They only paid off his. This came out, and now she has debt that she needs to pay off. And so an opportunity comes up that is the sum of the money that she owes, and all she needs to do is survive a month living with this man, and he wants to basically chase her through the woods. This was so exciting and like exhilarating. I was literally I read it in one sitting. I was on the edge of my seat. So like it says here, an exhilarating primal summer fling in the woods leads to an intensely sexy, edgy romance where anything goes. Just remember your safe word. I rated this one a 4-star. I really, really enjoyed it. I feel like it was like the perfect length, the perfect amount of like plot versus smart. Like it was just a very fun and enjoyable read. Okay, and then this is the great thing about reading, is just the complete 360 switch, because then the next book that I read was The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I rated this one a 4-star. So this one we are following Rin, who, to get away from like her adopted family, begs a tutor to teach her everything that she knows to take this test. And if you are in like the top % of passers of this test, you get sent to Singard Academy, and it's like the top academy where they teach you to become like a warrior, and there's all like different sections of becoming a warrior within the academy. So like I think you have like strategists that like plan like the wars and the attacks, and then you have like I can't remember all of the I can't remember all of the sections, but she basically gets accepted into this academy so that she can flee her adoptive family that just want to basically marry her off to the highest bidder. This one is it's a very heavy, complex fantasy. Like, it's definitely not a romantasy. It is far from that. I went on, so I rated this a 4-star, but then I've been sitting on it, and it's like, it was so heavy that I haven't had the urge to pick up the next one. So it's not that I'm not going to, but it's just that right now, like, some of it really like did weigh on me, and I was like, oh my god, because it feels very true to like what does happen in wars, and like maybe things that aren't always talked about because there's so much like devastation and disaster going on. And with like the current state of the world, I'm a very anxious person. And all I kept thinking about was like, this is real and like this is happening. And I'm not saying that we should just bury our head in the sands, but because we should be very much aware of everything that's going on in the world at the moment. But I think seeing that constantly, and then also in your downtime reading about it, as someone that can spiral and get stuck in like what do they call them? I can like ruminate on things, and then I'm constantly just in like this spiral of like, I can't breathe because the world is such a terrible place. So really enjoyed it, really loved the writing and the characters and everything, but I think I'm just going to need to take a little pause on it. And then I went on to Fable because I could see why this would have quite polarizing views. And on most of the negative, like the more negative reviews of people just being like, it just wasn't for me, I didn't gel with it, blah, blah, blah. All of the comments were like, oh yeah, because it's not smutty and it's not romantasy and it's not blah, 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 blah. You would have enjoyed it if there was like a male character that you could fancy. And it's like, whoa. some people just don't get on with every book that's ever been written, you know? I don't really understand what my point was there. But I feel like there's a part of me that worries sometimes it's saying that I don't know when or if I'm going to finish a series, that people are going to be like, yeah, that's because you just don't like fantasy and you just don't understand it. So I do like fantasy, but there's so much going on in this one that, yeah. Like, I thought myself prepared. I was not. That was actually me. Can't read anything that's too heavy because I really do. It's like my brain just holds on to it. And that's all I can think about. And then I wonder why, like, I'm depressed. But 4-star, really did enjoy it. If you're looking for something that's more just, like, battle heavy and, like, very fantasy and learning about, like, a new world and, she's a very, very, very powerful female main character. Like, the stuff that she has to go through in this book, like, incredible. It did inspire me to be, like, a better version of myself. So if that's the kind of vibe you're looking for, do recommend this. But also if you're the kind of person that, like, what's going on at the moment in the world is, like, a lot. And again, the people that are actually going through it, I get that they're going through a lot. But, you know what I mean. Okay, and then next I read The Defender by Anna Huang. This is the second book in the Gods of the Game series. I just woke my cat up. Sorry. Yeah, so this is book 2 in the Gods of the Game series, and we're following Vincent and... what is her name? Brooklyn. Vincent and Brooklyn playing for Black Castle. She is the team's nutritionist and he is obviously the team's defender. And he has a stalker, so he needs somewhere to stay for a while that the stalker wouldn't suspect. And so he moves in with Brooklyn, but they sort of like hate each other. They've just never got on. I rated this one at 2.75 stars. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's this kind of romance that I am edging out of. Like, it just feels like there's no stakes in this. You read it, and as soon as you see them meet, you're like, yep, they're together. Like, it just doesn't feel like there's anything to actually root for. But then I feel like when I was reading the Kings of Sin series, I really enjoyed that. So I don't know if it's that I just don't like the way that the football is written in this book. Maybe I'm being extra critical because it's like the English Premier League and I'm English. She is Canadian American. I don't know. But this is signed. I mean, like, it was enjoyable and I probably will read the last one, which I'm assuming will be the keeper, because then it'll be the striker, the defender, the keeper. I'm sure that's what it's already come out, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, it just wasn't a favourite. I did struggle to get through it. Like, I had to really be like, come on now, like, pick it up. I read this one in my swapping screen time for reading time, and I feel like because every day it was like, you have to read 200 pages, you have to read 125 pages, that helped me, because I would just be like, right, just read another 100 pages and then you can put it down. And I feel like that's the only way I actually push myself to get through this. Up on my Kindle, I read For the Fans by Nyla Kay, because I really enjoyed the aspect of the Game Changers series, and a lot of people that like that also recommended For the Fans. Again, I did enjoy it, but I just couldn't fully, like, commit to it. At one point, I was considering just DNFing it, because I was like, I just can't bring myself to care about the characters. But then as I got to, like, I pushed myself to the 60 to 70% mark, and I was like, okay, now I'm, like, invested. So I did rate this one a 2.75 stars, which I don't think is, like, a bad rating. Like, I feel like it was decent. Like, it was fine, you know, it did the job that I wanted it to do. Then I got my first Fairy Loot book, so this was January. Was it? Yeah, So this was January's Fairy Loot book, and it is King of Ravens by Claire Sager. I rated this one a 4.75 star. This, I haven't read, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, a like fae romantasy in a long time, and it just reminded me of how much I love broody fae males. Like, I need more. I don't know why I stopped. Maybe it was because I was just like, what's the word, like overconsumption, like just too much. And then I took a break, and now I'm like, yes, I remember, like I love this so much. So this one follows our female main character, and her name is Rhiannon, and she is dying. She's not very well. She lives like in a seaside cottage with her mum, her dad, and her younger brother. Her two other brothers, I think, are like off and married and like living their lives. She's still at home. She feels like a burden because her younger brother is still at home, and she thinks it's to take care of her. And then one day her brother brings a mirror home, and things just start getting weird. And then, as I said, we have a dark, broody, fae male character. But that's all I want to say, because I really enjoyed that I didn't know much going into this, and it was just, it was so good. I think I read it in like 2 settings. I was like, I cannot put this down. I need to know what happens. It was just, yes, so good. So good. 3 and 4 from the Diamond Devil series by Harmony West. So that was Devil You Know and Die For You. I rated Devil You Know 2.75 star and Die For You 3 stars. Again, I feel like my 2.75 and my 3 stars are for books where it's just like, they were fine, they were good, I enjoyed them while I was reading them, but they're not going to stick with me forever. The Diamond Devil series is a dark hockey romance set in college. So college age, hockey romance, dark, masked men, stuff like that. And I would recommend it if you like dark romance. They were enjoyable. And then I read Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, because the film is coming out soon with Ryan Gosling, and I was like, I feel like that's one that I'm going to want to have read before seeing the film. 5 stars. I have not stopped thinking about this book since the moment, like from the moment of starting it to the moment of finishing it, and even now, genuinely like gobsmacked at how brilliant that book was. Like, the plot, the characters, the pacing, the story, like plot and storyline is the same, but like just everything. I cannot fault a single part of it. And as I was reading it, I was like, I understand why this is being made into a film. Like, I can see this like playing out in my head now, and I'm so excited to see it on screen. Like, I genuinely cannot wait, and I'm telling everyone about it. You know, like when you have people in your life that don't read, I'm like, you have to go and see this film. Like, it's going to be incredible, because the book was incredible. And then our last few, I started the Compelling Fate sagas. I read book 1 and book 2, and they are A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly and A Promise So Bold and Broken by Sophia St. Germain. They are just like romantasy books on Kindle Unlimited, slow burn, enemies to lovers. 4 stars for both of them. I'm currently reading book 3, and I think this one might be like a 3 star. But incredible. Like, if you just, you know, when you just want something like addictive and juicy and like very like to me it just feels like TV in a book. Does that make sense? You know, just like your like guilty pleasure like TV shows with like drama and intrigue, but romantasy. I think it's like a dark romantasy, but I love them. I really, really enjoyed them, and they're on Kindle Unlimited. The book that I read in February was Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. So this one is about Dominic and his 3 kids, and they live on a remote island that was being used as a research facility for like seeds and plants. But they are the last people left on the island because all of the researchers have gone, and they're like the caretakers, so they're staying behind to pack up the last bits and bobs and shut down the island, because of climate change. The water is like coming in further to the island. Basically the island is sinking, and then one day his daughter finds a woman washed up on shore, and they don't know why she's there or what she's doing there. From the moment that I picked up this book, it was like, you know, when you just have like this like tingling feeling of like what is actually going on. That's how I felt when picking up this book. I read it in one sitting on holiday. I literally started it and finished it without moving, because I was like, this is just insane. I was vlogging my like reading week while reading this. Didn't talk to the camera once about this book because it was just like, I need to know. The writing style was really like fast paced, and the way that like time moved but everything made sense was incredible. We got point of views from every single character, and like different, but you're not getting the full story from all of the characters. You're like, whoa, like a character will say one thing to someone in one character's point of view, and then you'll go to the other and it's like they're thinking something else and what they're saying, and you're just like, what is going on right now? But I really recommend this one. I rated this one a 4-star, and this is one where like if people in my life are like, oh, I want something like quick and easy but interesting to read, like my mum or family friends, this, I would recommend this. This was really, really, really good. So they are all of the books that I read in January and February. Let me know if you read any of them and if you loved them or if you hated them. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. It means literally the world to me. And if you could drop me a like and a comment, subscribe, all of those things, and hopefully I will see you in my next video.